Hi, everybody. Can you give me a quick hello in the comments so I know that everybody's live here? Any Carolyn there? Anybody else? Oh, hi, Soyo. Okay, we'll just wait another quick minute here. So we're going to continue on with chapters 6 and 7 of Fantastic Mr. Fox. I think you should be able to enjoy it today. The chapter number 6 is a fun one, and it's entitled The Race. So I think we'll get started with that as soon as everybody's ready here. All right. Hi, AISVN G4. More digging. All right, here we go. Fantastic Mr. Fox, chapter 6. Now there began a desperate race, the machines against the foxes. In the beginning, the hill looked like this. After about an hour, as the machines bit away more and more soil from the hilltop, it looked like this. Sometimes the fox would gain a little ground and the clanking noises would grow fainter. Remember that word from last time, fainter. And Mr. Fox would say, "We're going to make it, I'm sure we are." But then a few moments later, the machines would come back at them and the crunch of the mighty shovels would get louder and louder. Kind of the opposite of fainter and fainter, right? You're right, like a dip, Carolyn. Once the foxes actually saw the sharp metal edge of one of the shovels as it scraped under the earth just behind them. "Keep going, my darlings," panted Mr. Fox. "Don't give up." "Keep going," the fat Bogus shouted to Bunce and Bean. "We'll get him any moment now." "Have you caught sight of him yet?" Bean called back. "Not yet," shouted Bogus, "but I think you're close." "I'll pick him up with my bucket," shouted Bunce. "I'll chop him into pieces." But by lunchtime, the machines were still at it, and so were the poor foxes. The hill now looked like this. The farmers didn't stop for lunch. They were too keen to finish the job. Keen means they're kind of excited. They're looking forward to it. "Hey there, Mr. Fox," yelled Bunce, leaning out of his tractor. "We're coming to get you now." "You've had your last chicken," yelled Bogus. "You'll never come prowling around my farm again." A sort of madness had taken hold of the three men. The tall, skinny Bean and the dwarfish pot-bellied Bunce were driving their machines like maniacs, racing the motors and making the shovels dig at a terrific speed. The fat Bogus was hopping around like a dervish and shouting, "Faster, faster!" By 5 o'clock in the afternoon, this is what had happened to the hill. It was completely sunk in. The holes the machines had dug were like the crater of a volcano, if you can picture what that looks like, right? A volcano kind of goes in where the caldera is. It was such an extraordinary sight that crowds of people came rushing from the surrounding villages to have a look. They stood on the edge of the crater and stared down at Bunce and Bogus and Bean. "Hey there, Bogus, what's going on?" "We're after a fox." "You must be mad." The people jeered and laughed, but this only made the three farmers more furious and more obstinate. That's a good word, obstinate. See if you can find the meaning. And more determined than ever not to give up until they'd caught the fox. Chapter 7, We'll Never Let Him Go. Who do you think's saying that, and who do you think they're talking about? At 6 o'clock in the evening, Bean switched off the motor of his tractor and climbed down from the driver's seat. Bunce did the same, and both men had had enough. They were tired and stiff from driving tractors all day. They were hungry. Slowly, they walked over to the small fox's hole in the bottom of the huge crater. Bean's face was purple with rage. Bunce was cursing the fox with dirty words that cannot be printed and I cannot say. Bogus came waddling up. "Dang and blast that filthy, stinking fox," he said. "What the heck do we do now?" "I'll tell you what we don't do," Bean said. "We don't let him go." "We'll never let him go," Bunce declared. "Never, never, never," cried Bogus. "Did you hear that, Mr. Fox?" yelled Bean. bending low and shouting down the hole. It's not over yet, Mr. Fox. We're not going home until we've strung you up dead as a dingbat. I think that means they want him dead. Whereupon the three men all shook hands with another and swore a solemn oath that they would not go back to their farms until the fox was caught. What's the next move? Asked Bunce, the pot-bellied dwarf. We're sending you down the hole to fetch him up, said Bean. Down you go, you miserable midget. Not me, screamed Bunce, running away. Bean made a sickly smile. When he smiled, you saw his scarlet gums, bright red gums. You saw more gums than teeth. There's only one thing to do, he said. We'll starve him out. We camp here day and night, watching the hole. He'll come out in the end. He'll have to. So Boggis and Bunce and Bean sent messages down to their farms asking for tents, sleeping bags, and some supper. That finishes today's read aloud. Mr. Drew will pick up tomorrow with chapter number 8. It's called The Foxes Begin to Starve. Starve. S-T-A-R-V. Starve. See if you can figure out what that means for tomorrow's lesson. Okay, thank you for listening, guys. That was a lot of fun. A lot of action on the side in the chat group. I hope that we can keep all the comments productive and helpful and not just blow up the chat with random stuff, but good conversation. Thank you for joining today. We'll see you again tomorrow for chapter number 8. Bye.